Hey, it's Mike Watson with Keller Williams here in Palmdale, and I am bringing you the monthly statistics for our real estate market and how the month of April 2021 has fared. Couple of big changes, and let's do a quick refresh because some of these numbers discuss year over year stats, and April is when lockdown first really began and when we first really started to feel the impacts of that. So for a number of new listings in April this year, 662, that's a 1% increase versus March, but a 55% increase year over year. So people obviously this time last year didn't know what was going on, kind of afraid to sell their homes. Let's see how this all shakes out, right? But again, so huge increase over last year, not much of an increase over last month. And so let's look at this, and we'll, at the end, there's some stats that are going to correlate with this that are important. For the number of homes that went into escrow, it was a 5% decrease month over month. Not sure if that'll be a trend or not. That could have to do with home pricing and affordability. And that was versus March. But year over year, we had a 76% increase. So last April, even more people were afraid of purchasing a home than they were putting their home on the market. We didn't really feel the market to be like actually slow until June, but you know, we'll see that here in just a minute. Number of homes that sold in April, 485. That was a 7% decrease versus March, but a 22% increase versus last year. We'll probably see May and June have hopefully significantly higher percentage increases year over year because the slowdown last year will have happened in those months, like I said. But we saw the number of homes go pending was decreased, could be due to affordability. That's something that we'll watch and see how the market continues to trend. This is amazing. The average selling price for homes in the Antelope Valley was $460,000. That was an 11% jump over last month and a 36% increase year over year. I had to go double check the data on this one to make sure that it wasn't wrong or that somebody didn't accidentally type in a price that was had an extra couple zeros on it. That wasn't the case. There were just a couple of very high-end homes that sold within our service areas. So I took those out just to get more of an average, and it was still 435, which is still insane. To put it in perspective, the last time the market peaked in August of 2006, our average selling price then was $355,000. So this shows over $100,000 increase. What it doesn't show is that in 2006, when we got that high of a price, our interest rates were at 6.5%. Right now, our rates are up from where they've been this year, but we're at 3.2, depending on credit and loan type, on a 30-year. So they're literally less than half of where they were in 2006 when the prices were at their peak before. And so the affordability is still pretty on point, just payment versus payment in that time. But if you then calculate in inflation, it's actually still cheaper right now to own a home than it was back in 2006 when prices were significantly cheaper. The average days on market is down to 19, and that's the average days from when a home goes on the market to when they accept an offer. And that's for all price ranges, all areas within our service area, and all shapes and sizes. So a lot of areas we're seeing are significantly lower, like Rosemond, I think, was at 9 or 10 days when I checked it. But the valley as a whole, from Mojave to Acton, we're averaging 19. That's a 19% decrease from last month and a 58% decrease from last year, which is interesting because it hadn't really slowed down yet last year. Like I said, we might see that be a bigger gap in the coming months. Months worth of inventory, we're back over 1 month. We had dropped down probably in January to 0.99 months. We're at 102. It's a 6% decrease from last year and a 43% decrease. 6% last month, 40% decrease from last year. This is a very important slide going back to pricing and back to the number of homes going into escrow. Things are selling faster still, so that still shows that there is a demand on average. But we just need to pay attention because the number of homes that went pending were fewer, but they went pending faster, right, with the days on market, and the total number of homes still for sale is less. Those are the stats that we really want to watch to see how the market's going to fare, and I'm sure that that'll be in direct correlation with interest rates and what they do over the remainder of the year. I know that they're talking about raising them. I was on a national call with Keller Williams, and they were saying that if interest rates start to average over 4%, like around 4.25%, 4.5%, they believe that the game that we are currently playing of musical chairs with people just moving all about the country, they believe that that'll stop once we hit 4%. So we'll just have to see where that goes. And there was evidence with that back at the end of 2018. We did get back up to like 4.5 at the end of 18. And at the beginning of 19, the number of homes that had sold in the first quarter of 19 versus the first quarter of 18, number of homes to have sold were down 22%. So those are the factors that we just need to continue to watch. And that's it for this month. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. We do have some new options coming out where you can purchase a new home without selling your existing home first, even if you do need to sell the home to be able to qualify for your next purchase, and not do it, by selling your house, 20, 30, or even 5 or 10% below market value. It's really a good program that I think that sellers who maybe have been on the market of like, man, I would love to sell my house, but where would I go? How am I going to compete in this crazy market? Mike, you're talking about, all these homes being, getting multiple offers and prices are going up, and that's great. But if I have to sell, how am I going to compete against that? We've got some options that just rolled out for you guys on that. And sure, they do cost a little bit of money, but I mean, go back and look at the stats that we just said about, the price increases month over month and year over year. I don't know how, I don't think that that's an excuse any longer with how cheap it is to be able to purchase your home. And by the way, purchasing the new home with this program, you purchase it as a cash buyer. So not only do you go from being on the lower end of having to sell in order to buy, but you go to the top of the pile by not even having to qualify for a loan to purchase. So you have no loan contingency, you have no appraisal contingency. It's a real good opportunity for anybody who's kind of been on the fence of, I would love to buy, but I have to sell, and I don't think I'll be successful in doing that. Anyway, if you're interested in that, let me know, and I will get you more details on that. Like I said, it's a program that's just rolling out, and I'm super excited for the possibility that's going to provide a lot of families. Have a great day, you guys. I will talk to you soon.